A black, gay, disabled, morbidly obese, female space marine. And since we know for a fact that only men can be space marines, we are therefore also forced to conclude a black, gay, disabled, morbidly obese, transgender space marine. Brothers and sisters, it is my pleasure, my privilege, my honor, in fact, to inform you that we have finally done it. We have reached 100% representation. This right here is the peak of the mountain. This is the summit. This is the avatar of diversity. And what a sight it is. And the best part of it all is that this landslide of an artwork is not intended as a parody or a satire. This was drawn in all due seriousness as a mocking attempt to prove that those bad, vile, evil chuds had it all wrong. You see, this impactful artwork was created by Chumi, a 23-year-old Chilean queen, him, who resolved to show the chuds that diversity could look cool. I am not entirely convinced he succeeded in his quest. To be fair, it was a Herculean task. It was more than we would ever ask of most individuals to make this cool, appealing, or even mildly interesting. Would probably be beyond the skills of Leonardo da Vinci himself, frankly, so I don't know if we can be too hard on Chumi for trying and failing. And of course, the reaction has been rather swift and overwhelmingly negative for very difficult to discern reasons. The best part too is like, it is so studiously touristy as well. That's the best part. First and foremost, let me begin by complaining that, by praising the artist in question for using a Primaris Marine. Because if one of my beloved firstborns, the actual Space Marines, was to be debauched in such a manner, I would grow rather upset, frankly. But thank the Emperor, it is a Primaris, his least favored second, third sons. And the outfit as well, so I'm pretty sure these down here, the little booty thingies, that's the one they nailed to the feet of the intercessors. Intercessors? Inceptors? Insuppers? I don't even know. The dumbass new Primaris that fly with their silly little aerial skis. And I must admit, the mental image of watching our black, disabled, morbidly obese, female, transgender Space Marine take to the air, launching from her combat wheelchair, presumably with a loud whoop. It is actually somewhat appealing. I mean, holy hell, this would be a rather dangerous weapon to the opponent. Can you imagine launching half a dozen of these into the enemy's trench lines? Granted, their mobility will be somewhat reduced once they, hit the ground, but I imagine they will do significant damage to everything around them. If nothing else, to their oculus. Oh, God help me. Or the Crux Terminatus, which is worn here on the lower part of the greave instead. Now, the Crux Terminatus is, of course, universally worn on the left shoulder pad, not on your greaves. And if it must be worn on the foot pads, on the feet pads, on the greaves, etc., it should be worn on the left knee pad, not like this. And it certainly should not be worn without the actual Crux Terminatus on the shoulder pad as well, as this is a signifier of tremendous veterancy and respect within the chapter. It means you are part of the first company elites, which I suppose falls in line with the fact that she's also carrying an iron halo, yet another thing only granted to the most venerated of veterans. How exactly she managed to achieve such status is hitherto unknown, as her armor is also in absolute perfect repair. No scratches, no dents, no battle markings, no purity seals, I will note as well, amusingly enough. Although, I imagine that even our Chilean queen's stomach would roil a little at the idea of planting purity seals on such a chaotic abomination. I can see why one would avoid that at the very least. Furthermore, we've got a mysterious little marking down here, a 6 and possibly a stylistic Roman numeral 1. Now, this could kind of make sense, potentially. It could be the 6th squad of the first company, which would still not really make all that much sense with the Crux Terminatus, unless we're assuming this is one of those incredibly fortunate chapters that have an entire company's worth of Terminators, but frankly, at this point, should we really go on to complain about the lore? Like, should we point out that she's apparently wearing the Phobos booties? You know, the ones for the silent infiltrator terror squads? Admittedly, she would probably, no, I take that back. She would perform the latter objective with gusto, no doubt about it. But complaining about the lore of a work like this is, well, it's kind of like complaining about a splinter in your finger after your arm's been blown off. It's just frankly kind of pointless at that point, isn't it? Oh, and 2 silver service studs as well, and I don't know why, but she strikes me as an ultramarine descendant, and that's a century's worth of service right there, still with her armor in pristine condition. Misa thinks that perhaps this was a failed experiment of somebody dabbling a little bit too deeply and heretically into the secrets of the gene seed and created this creation. Ever since, the rest of the chapter just simply put their newfound brother in a chair, bound him securely to it, and placed him in one of the darker recesses of their battle barge, never to be seen again. Occasionally wheeled out, I don't mean to be prejudiced here, in front of the new neophytes and recruits, as a warning, as a, hey look, this is what failure looks like. Are you sure you want to be this? If not, I advise you to try doubly hard in your training, neophytes. There are fates significantly worse than death. Evidently so. Somehow, I don't think this artwork will ever serve its intended purpose of showing the silly chuds just how mind-blowingly awesome diversity can be if merely simply just done correctly. In fact, I've got a sneaking suspicion that a lot of people will be doing exactly the same as I am right now, bringing this up front and center to show everyone that our opposition are legitimately retarded. God bless me with idiotic enemies. Oh, and just in case you were wondering, by the way, the other creation of this artwork's artiste is the Space Maids. Yet another attempt to, I'm not entirely sure, frankly, either draw attention, in which case, well, Shumi has absolutely been successful in that, as this beautiful thing has received like 250,000 views on Twitter last I checked, which, that's not too bad for the Rainbow Vanguard. I doubt this is going to spin off into a major new career for the individual in question, but hey, I can sort of kind of respect the game of baiting the hate clicks, if nothing else. There's a certain artistry in that, and well, at least the gut plate is nice. It's shaded well. It really does give me the impression of just how horrifically fat This, oh god. And then a naked picture flashed through Archer's overactive imagination. The rolls of fat wobbling gently in the rising sunrise, presumably reflecting the rainbow. I think we'll end it there. Thank you very much for listening. I hope to see you all again soon. Wonder if I had any bleach left.